Hello everyone. So I welcome you all in this video, and today we are going to learn about VLAN, that is virtual local area network. So in this video we are going to learn how to configure a VLAN using a Cisco Packet Tracer. So by using the VLAN we can virtually separate our LAN into a smaller networks. Already we have seen that subnetting concept we have discussed, where we have a larger block and then we can make a smaller block with the help of subnetting. So also we'll try to understand the difference between the VLAN and a subnetting. So this is how the VLAN switch looks like. It's a 16 port VLAN switch, and here you can see that we have to use certain port and do little configuration, and then we can make a small network. So this is how it works. So if we want to make use of this switch and want to create three VLAN, so this is how we are going to use these ports to make our small network. And the beauty of this VLAN is here we do not need to use some extra hardwares, or like in the case of subnetting, uh, you might be using the firewall to handle all the subnetworks separately. You might be using some extra cable. You might be using certain switches and routers to do internal kind of communication. Also, in the case of some network, we are going to compromise with certain set of IPs, because the first and last IPs are always reserved. So in many aspects, VLAN is more preferable over some network. So it all depends on what exactly is the requirement. So if we quickly look to the differences between the VLAN and some network, then we can realize that in what scenario which one is preferable. Also, when we are going to configure the VLAN, we access and the trunk, kind of switching we are going to use here for making a connection. So whenever you are going to, so if you can see there's a red and blue lines are visible here. So whenever you are going to make a connection between the connecting devices, like if you want to connect the two switches or the switch and the router, then we are going to use the trunk mode. Okay, and if you want to connect any of the switch with your workstation, then we use access mode. So you can see here this red line is being kind of used for in the access mode to connect one terminal to the switch. And similarly you can see that the two switches, or one switch and one router, are made connection using the trunk mode. So let's have a quick look on to the differences in the VLAN and subnetting. So the the key idea of VLAN is to create a virtual or logical LAN, and its purpose is to make us communicate within the devices that is in the same LAN. But in the case of subnetting, what we are doing, we are giving a long range of IPs, and we are doing a logical partitioning. That means we are going to make a small sub blocks out of a larger block. The other thing that you can notice between the two is that the entire subnetting communication is majorly handled by the routers. But in the case of VLAN, the the key device which actually used to implement the idea of making this virtual LAN is done with the help of switch. So we have VLAN enabled switches are there that help us to make this virtual local area network. Uh, VLAN is assumed to be, give you a more stable and better network access, but subnet somehow is having a kind of limited access and also provides a limited control. The other difference, which is more prominent among the two, is that VLAN entire setup is a kind of software-based setup. You can write the commands and do all the configuration. You can make your virtual local area network, and the devices within this network can able to communicate. But in the case of subnetting, you might be using some separate firewalls for each subnetworks to different access permissions. You might be compromising with some set of IPs, giving the identity to a separate network. So let us understand that how the two things will work by using a Cisco Packet Tracer. So we are going to uh, see that how the VLAN is created and how we can make communication between the two different VLAN. So let's start with the Cisco Packet Tracer. So this is my Cisco Packet Tracer workspace, and here we are doing all this exercise. So we are here for configuring a VLAN. So for this, let us take certain devices here. So I'll take four PC machines, and that can be active as a workstation, and then I will take some switch. Okay, so I will take 4 PC, and then I will take one switch network device. Let's say I'll take this 2960 switch, and then I will assign some IPs to this. So I am going to use a static IP. So let's say I'm using the class C, and I will use the address 192.168 dot 1. So I will give dot 10 dot 20 dot 30 dot 40 like this. Okay, I'll give. So this I'll give 192.168.1.10 is the IP of the first machine. Similarly, I can give for every other machine. So it is done. You can see this is 10, 20, 30, and 40. Okay. Now we will connect all these PCs with our switch so that we can do intercommunication between these two, between or among these PCs. So I'll use appropriate cable. I will use this copper straight through cable. Okay, so we are done with the this very basic kind of connection. So you can see this is ready. This is already up, and you can see that it is perfectly configured with this switch. Now let us see that the communication is possible or not. So to check this, I will send some kind of message from, let's say, from PC1 to PC3, and see that the connection is possible or not. So for this we have a ping command that is used for connectivity. So from this machine, this is 40. Okay, I will write here 192.168.1 dot, and let's say this is 40, so I will write connect. I will try to connect 10. We need to write a ping command, ping 192.168.1.10. So we can see we are getting a proper reply. So we can try to check connection for other PC as well. It is working. So we are able to connect 20, 40, let's say try with 30 as well, or 10 as well. Okay, so we are getting connection. Similarly, we can do the same exercise with, let's say, this is uh, 1.20. From here, I try to connect to ping 192.168.1 dot, let's say 40. So here you can see that the intercommunication is possible here. So here at this point of time, it makes one LAN. Okay, it means all these four PCs become a part of one network. Now, if it is a kind of huge LAN which comprises of multiple computers, and when you do communication initially, so it's a kind of broadcasting is happening. Whenever a message delivered from any one device, it goes to every other machine, and then only the machine to which it is destined is actually accepted. Other we're going to reject. So a lot of broadcasting is happening here initially when you do the communication in this kind of setup. Now, if you want to kind of separate a set of machines to for a specific purpose, let's say you can think in terms of department that this may be representing, let me make like this. Let this representing one virtual LAN that represent these set of machines which are able to communicate, and also this represent one set of machine that are able to communicate. Means the communication from this to this is not possible, and communication from here to here is not possible, but they are free to uh, communicate within themselves. Now, for that, what I will do is I will create one virtual LAN. So this represent virtual LAN, and this will be one virtual LAN. So for this, I need to configure my switch. So let's say this is my VLAN 2. This is my VLAN 3. You can give any name. I am going to give 2 and 3. And this is the VLAN 1 is the default LAN. VLAN 1 is the default that is given to the switch. So you can see here that it is given here at the last. You can see this is VLAN 1. Okay. So let's do the configuration. What I will do, I will give this as VLAN 2, this is as VLAN 3. Okay, so let me write this information. This is VLAN 2, VLAN 3. Okay, and also keep a note of these interfaces. This is FA0, this is FA1, this is FA02, this is FA01. Okay, so now these two must be connected to VLAN 3, and this 3 and 4 must be connected to VLAN 2. So first we have to create a VLAN. So we'll go here and we will uh, go to the configuration. We can go to VLAN database, and I will add here number 2, and I will say this is my VLAN 2. Add. Similarly, I can add 3 as VLAN 3 and add. Okay, and then we need to also specify that this VLAN, this particular machine and this machine will be the part of VLAN 3. So if you look at this from this Ethernet 01, this is going to be part of VLAN 3. Okay, this is VLAN 3 and this is FA01, right? You can see from here this is FA. So you can just put it here and you can find this is fast Ethernet 01 interface. So I am going to connect to VLAN 3. Similarly, this is also sorry, this 02 is VLAN 3. Okay, done. And this 3 and 4 is basically connected to or a part of VLAN 2. Okay, so you can see that now the things are actually already configured. So you can just look at this. This is connected to 3. This is connected to 3. This is connected to 2. This is connected to 2. Now, what is the impact of this? So when we do this, now we can again try to do the communication and see the connection is possible or not. So let me also write the IP here so that it can be known to us that what IP we have given to which particular PC. So this is actually uh, 1.10. So let me write this IP here. This is 192.168.1.10. Okay, so now we have a clear picture that is VLAN 2, VLAN 3, and in VLAN 3 we have these PCs with these IPs. So from here, if I want to connect here, let's see it's working or not. Ping 192.168.1.40. So I'm trying to connect from this particular PC to this PC and it says not working. The reason being we already created a virtual LAN and now we have no access to this other no LAN. So we will now try to see that is it possible to connect from this PC to this PC. Okay, so again write the ping command and instead of 1.40 I will write 1.20 and we find that it is possible to connect because this becomes a virtual LAN. Now the same thing we'll check. We'll try to connect from this PC to the PC and this PC. So okay, this is the PC. We'll go here and then we'll write the ping command. Ping 192.168.1.40. That means first I'm trying to connect from here to here, which is a part of the same virtual LAN, and we find that it is possible to connect. The similar thing we will try to connect with, let's say 1.20, and it is not connecting because already we have set up a virtual LAN here. Okay, this is done. Now let us assume that we have two virtual LAN. So we have established two virtual LAN, and then we want to, want to set up a connection between the two virtual LAN. Okay, so let's say this is not the part of the same class. This is a block from class C, and let's say this is a block uh, from class C even. Okay, so let me make some changes here. So let me write this as 2.10 and this as 2.20. Okay, and what actually I'm going to do is I would like to now this is my one virtual LAN, this is my other VLAN, and I want to do the intercommunication between these two LANs. Okay, so with the help of some router. So let me also make the changes here. So this is going to become 2.10 and because we are going to make a inter-VLAN communication, so what we can do, we can also have to specify the gateway. Okay, so here we have used this 2.10 2.20, so then let's say the gateway will be 2.1 in our case. So I'll go here and I will say 192.168.1, sorry, dot 2.1 is the gateway. Okay, this I will copy here and do the same for other machine. This is going to become okay. So you can see here this is 2.10 is the IP and 2.1 is the gateway. Okay, here the same thing is you can see here. Okay, now we can also make uh, set a gateway here. So in this case, the gateway will be 1.1. Hmm. For this, I have used the gateway as 192.168.2.1. This is we used for this particular VLAN, and here we have used 1.1. Okay. So now if I want to make the communication possible between these two VLAN, so what I will do, I will just take one router that will do inter-VLAN connection to us. So I'll go to router, and then let's say I will use this router, and then we use proper cabling here. Okay, this is done. Hmm. Now, also let me write what is this actually interface. This is FA0. This is FA03. So you can write here. This is FA03. Uh, After this, we need to also set up a connection between the switch and the router. So we will go to our switch, and then we will be uh, going here. Just a minute. So we'll see here which port is being used. This is basically, you can just hover onto this and you will find this is FA05. So you can go here and go to 05, and here when we connect the two devices, then we have to use this trunk mode. Okay, and it's connect to the VLAN 1. VLAN 1 basically is referring to this particular router. Okay, so we are done with all the configuration or setting with this switch. Now we have to configure our router, and for router configuration I have already wrote here a set of commands which are actually to be used. And also quickly check, this is your interface FA0. Okay, so we'll enable router, and then we will open the configure our terminal. Okay, you can see the command which is written here. I am going typing here, and then I'm going to configure our interface FA00, FA0/0, and then we'll want to activate our router, change the state to up state, no shutdown. So interface FA0/0, and then we have to specify dot the VLAN number. So we have two VLAN, we have numbered as 2 and 3. So let us write here 2 here. First we are going to configure VLAN 2, and then we write the standard configuration command like encapsulation dot 1q VLAN number. And then we write the IP address, means the gateway address and the mask. So IP address and the gateway for VLAN 2. This is our VLAN 2, and for this VLAN 2 the gateway is 192.168.2.1. And the mask we have used here is this is class C 255 dot. So we are done with configuring our VLAN 2 with the router. The same thing we will do for VLAN 3. So I'll do interface FA0/0 dot 3, and then we write encapsulation. So for VLAN 3, the gateway is 192.168.1.1, and the mask is this 255.255.255.0. Okay, so we are done with the initial setup. So now we believe that this router is able to do the intercommunication, means the communication between the two VLAN. So how do we check this? We can send a message using a ping command. We will see the connectivity using a ping command from this machine from 1.40 to 2.10. So let's say we'll go here and so I will write here ping command, and I am writing from here to 2.10. Now we can see we are able to connect, means we are able to connect from this machine, means this is a PC in VLAN 3 and we are able to connect to 2.10. Let's say are we able to connect from this PC to 2.20 or not? We'll see here 2.20, and I think it will be pinging. So yeah, you can see that it is able to connect. The same thing will check in the other way. So if you try to connect from here, so we'll close this and we will try to connect from 2.10 to 1.30. So go here and we'll write here 1.30, and we will find that it is again possible to connect, because with the help of router we are able to do inter-VLAN communication. Even you can do the communication between within this local kind of VLAN itself. So if I, instead of connecting from 2.10 to 1.30, if I just connect to 2.1, sorry, 2.20, then also you can find that we are able to establish our connection. So this is all. I think we have understood that how to make the VLAN, what is VLAN, how to configure VLAN, and how to do the uh, inter-VLAN communication using a router. So this is all for this particular video. Thank you very much.